Hey everyone, good afternoon. I'm taking a quick lunch break here, and I wanted to come on to talk to you guys about what I think is a very important topic, one that is not always fun to talk about, but is a part of trading, and that is how to stay in the game when you are having a down morning, right, or a down day. And I know you guys, if you guys trade for a living, that trading is there's ups and downs in trading, right? And I've been on a pretty good tear recently. I haven't had a down day in almost 2 weeks, and in the last month I've had 3 down days. Right, so I've been on a pretty good tear, and I would love to have come on here and talk to you guys about how I am having another great day, but that just is not the case at the moment. Right, I've had a little bit of a tough morning. Hasn't been an awful morning. At the moment I am down about 3 R's. Right, here's my P&L. We'll talk about these trades real quick. And was traded pretty good. I didn't see a lot of follow through today. Took some pretty good setups that just didn't end up working out. And yeah, so it's been a little bit of a tough morning, right? And I wanted to come on to talk specifically about how I handle something like this, right? Because there's going to be plenty of times in the future where I'll be able to jump on here and talk about the home runs that we've had, right? And I love talking about those, and that is that's the best part of trading, right? But I wanted to bring up what I do and the process that I go through when I have a couple losing trades in a row, because it happens, right? It's something that happens, and the important thing to focus on is long term, right? The important thing to focus on is having a morning where I lose 3 R's. One is it absolutely come back in one trade, right? One good trade, and there is no reason to do destruction to my account just because I had a down morning, right? So if you're someone who struggles with a boom and bust equity curve, or struggles with how to manage losses if you have a couple of them in a row, then this is a perfect video for you, right? And this is something that when I started trading a couple years ago, this was a huge struggle for me, right? So I just want to go over this process, right? So real quick, these are the trades I took. I'll go over them real briefly, and we can I'll show you exactly what I did here. All right, so I also had a couple tech issues this morning, and hopefully that is okay. Alright, so I took the CNQ short under the 1 minute bars low, stop above the 1 minute bars high. It was aggressive entry. This was a professional gap down on the CNQ, and that's what I took. So I entered here and ended up getting stopped out. Okay, was it aggressive entry, but we had a pretty good gaps list, and I was willing to take something like this, right? So this is completely in my strategy, completely in my plan. Was a pro gap down, thought this had a little bit more room to run lower, and so that's what I did as a short, right? Ended up taking a stop on it. Went to the HTZ, which also I thought was a pretty nice pro gap down. And what I ended up doing was taking this short here, right, and I got filled a little bit early because I was worried that I wasn't going to be able to get filled, right? So I ended up playing this short, stop here, and ended up taking a stop on it, right? And then I was able to replay on this sell setup, which actually worked out pretty well. Okay, so I was able to recover most of my losses from that on that sell setup on the HTZ. Okay, this was a pro gap down, but just didn't follow through in the morning, right? And then I jumped to the, so I was able to recover from that. I jumped to the ANDX on the long side, right? So ANDX was a 5-minute buy setup right here. This was the prettiest pattern I think I saw all day, right? So ANDX pulled back, did a 5-minute buy setup. got in this, didn't take any on this pop, and ended up getting out just below this base here. Right? So I played the ANDX long, and I played the RYAM short. Alright, played this sell setup here. Actually mentioned this on the mic. I said it was a little bit aggressive, but I mentioned this sell setup on the RYAM. Short here, and stop above here. This was up about an hour and a half. I wanted to hold for low of the day, and just didn't follow through. So I ended up killing it over this topping tail, and it ended up being roughly a break-even trade. Okay, so those are the trades that I took. Right, I showed you my P&L before. RYAM, also a professional gap down, and I thought this had room to go to the low of the day. Had 2 Rs to the low of the day, and possibly even a little bit farther into 1750. All right, so those were the trades that I took. They're all pretty reasonable. Everything's inside my strategies. The HTZ, the first entry that I ended up taking the stop on, I did get in early, which was, I'll have to log as a mistake. Right, I'll have to log that as a mistake. Okay, so that's what I took this morning. And what I wanted to mention is that after this, sometimes I can fall into the trap of that I have an edge in the market, that I know I have an edge over thousands of trades, and I can fall into the trap of saying, well, I just need to look for the next trade, and I just need to trade more because my edge will materialize over time, right? So if I keep trading and keep exploiting my edge, then I'll be able to recover from this, very small drawdown that I had this morning, right? And that is 100% true. Okay, I have an edge in the market, and my goal is to exploit that edge as often as possible. Right? So if I see setups, I need to take those. Right? Now, the reason why this can be a trap sometimes is because I'm a discretionary pattern trader. And so what's very important is asking myself, am I in the right mental framework where I can read my edge correctly? Right? And that's sometimes it's a very hard question. Because if I can't read my edge correctly, then I'm just going to do more damage. And if I'm not in a mental space where I can read my edge, then it's important for me to not trade. Now, I'm not saying don't trade indefinitely. I'm not even saying don't trade the rest of the day. That's not what I'm telling myself. But what I had to do is I had to ask myself, I was like, okay, down 3 Rs this morning, that's not the best feeling in the world. But what I need to do is I need to ask myself, do I feel like, one is I'm willing to take a perfect pattern, right? And what I need to ask myself is, do I feel like I can read a perfect pattern right now? Can I differentiate between a perfect pattern and a mediocre setup? Because I'm not in a place right now as far as my equity this morning to take a mediocre setup, right? I'm only willing to take a perfect pattern. And so the process that I go through is when I'm down in the morning is asking myself, can I realistically point out, find a perfect pattern, and trade it and manage it correctly? And to be honest with you guys, an hour ago, I had to honestly say no, that I wasn't in a place where I could take a perfect pattern. I should take a perfect pattern because that's what my edge says, and that's what I need to do. But I just wasn't in the place mentally. And one of the best things that I could do at that point is to take a break. Right? So I decided to take a break, and I said, you know what, I might as well come jump on Facebook here, because this is real trading. Right? I've had a pretty good run here, and this is a real thing that I've struggled with. And what better than a perfect time to talk about this than as I'm going through the process right now, right? One, it'll certainly help me, and two, hopefully it'll help you guys, right? Because we all manage times where we lose money, and it's important to keep that long-term focus of, one, the day is not over, and I have a chance to stay in the game as long as I'm there mentally, right? And the other thing is I have weekly goals. I personally don't have daily goals. I don't think there's anything the matter with having daily goals, but I think it's important to look at your equity curve to see whether you should have daily goals or weekly goals or monthly goals. And I have weekly goals. And so I made money yesterday, And today I'm down a little bit in the morning, and I can absolutely recover from this. But the key is to stay in the game mentally, and to honestly ask yourself where you are mentally. And for me, a lot of times that involves taking a break, right? Taking a break, going through the process of managing a down morning. All right? All right, guys. I'm going to jump off here. Just want to come on. Hopefully you guys found that helpful. And as always, I hope you guys stay in process, and I will talk to you guys soon. Thanks, guys. Have a good rest of your day.